So joining us for this little special mini-series on goalkeepers, we've got the Scottish whale himself, the man known as McGawka in quiet halls of the Sorare Discord. It's the one, the only. It's McBrideAce. Mark,
Hello.
thanks a lot for joining us, my man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, yeah. Is whale referring to my weight or the amount of cards that I own?
It's definitely related to your card count. No two ways
That's
about it,
alright
Marky
then.
boy. You're looking
That's
trim as
okay.
always, mate.
That's because you can only see the top half at the moment. Too many takeaways during COVID. I was stuck in, so that's my excuse anyway.
I think
But
we've all
anyway,
got that excuse these days, eh? Oh, this is lockdown. It's done that to me.
definitely.
For
Definitely.
sure. But I want to tackle goalkeepers in a really hard way. And whenever I think about goalkeepers, there's only one man that comes to my head, and that's you, Marky boy. You're, like I said in the kind of tip-off, formerly known as McGawka. If anyone at home doesn't know who Gawka is a guy who used to just buy everything, like everything and anything from the primary market and the secondary market. And
Yeah.
once upon a time, he then sold all his gallery, and he bought a house wherever he lives. And you took upon the mantle of Mick Gawka because you were just buying everything and anything as he kind of departed, and it's paid off for you in spades, of course. But the biggest part of that for you has been the goalkeeper element.
Yeah, goalie's really interesting. I mean, I remember when I joined Sorare and I was just like looking at those guys like 20, 30 quid, 40 quid. I know that sounds crazy now. You wouldn't even get a good limited for that now, but rares. And then you look at the goalkeepers are like 60 or 70 quid. I'm like, why are they so expensive? Playing in goals. And as Fraser said, it's only one goalkeeper per team. So just supply and demand thing. Four defenders playing, there's only one goalkeeper. So there's more demand for them. It'd always be more expensive. And then like you would think then that all the goalies would be expensive, but then I've seen good goalkeepers who weren't playing that were a fiver and a tenner. And I'm going, well, why are they only a fiver and a tenner? That's quite a big difference, uplift and things. And then, I started on quite a low budget. First 5 guys cost me about 60 quid. And I got my referral reward was Paul Lopez Rare. And that was me hooked in goalkeepers. that was me hooked. Ended up with bloody Horvath backups, and I just kind of found it quite intriguing. Like you see, a couple of guys who went from being backup to playing, and all of a sudden, instead of like 8 quid, they were selling for like 80 and 100 and things. You're going, well, that's quite, that's a good return. So, it just kind of started from there. And like, if I had to go back now and I had to like a really good budget, then obviously at some points of sale I'd buy more quality, I'd buy more super rares or whatever, because obviously horses bolted in some of those areas now when you see some of the prices. But I don't really regret doing what I did in my budget, because sometimes I just buy a guy at the weekend for 20 quid and that'd be my fun, so I'm not going to put on a coupon or whatever. I'm just going to buy a guy back up and I'll be patient and hopefully I'll be able to sell them later, or I'll have some starting goalies for 15 quid and things. I just went for there. So, and you'll not know this, but when I was younger, when I used to play football, not at a huge level, I used to play Ingles. So
Oh, there you go then. So
there
you
you
got
go.
affinity for it.
I kind of know a wee bit about it, but
I
aye.
know, man, I get it. If you could hit the subscribe button, I do daily videos on Sorare, everything from hints, tips and tricks all the way through to live streams and tips on cheap players to buy. That will also automatically enter you into my March giveaway. I'm giving away a rare Davy Klaassen, who's a midfielder for Ajax, and 2 limited goalkeepers. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. And in preparation for this, you've prepared a world-class, what I would say, definitely a world-class spreadsheet in terms of goalkeeper analysis, current situations. The pricing is funny because we were meant to do this, it feels
Yeah,
like eons ago. You've left the prices, but the sheet we have is stagnant. So
yeah,
this will be really interesting for the viewers at home, because like the prices will have changed. Maybe some of the guys that are on this sheet are actually now cheaper, and there's no real reason for it other than circumstances we'll come to talk about. And equally, there will be some other guys that give us
yeah.
that bit of proof in the pudding that when this analysis and research was done, that you can see, oh yeah, this guy's now kicked on, or blah de blah, whatever.
I was about I think 6 weeks ago, and then obviously I had COVID, so we're planning to do it, and then that was me out the game for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then we're just catching up now. But yeah, I've left the pricing as then, because it's quite good to compare that and see like who's got in, how that's affected their prices, and as you said, how some of the other guys are like still backups and what they're priced at now. So
On screen now, what you'll be able to see is Mark's best goalkeeper buys. Okay, so we've got circa 30 odd keepers here in lots of different shapes, sizes, regions, and profiles. Some of them are starters, some of them actually aren't, even though they make the best buy list.
yeah,
Uh, So when you put this list together, Mark, I don't know if I don't think top to bottom is the best way to go because I see Donnarumma's at the top and Banazu's at the bottom. So is it when you made this list? Who did is there anyone that was a standout for you? You're like, this guy's just
Yeah.
ridiculous value for money, or just makes all the sense in the world? Was there a standout?
I think, well, firstly, the reason I made the list is because I think there's going to be a bit of a shortage of 23s goalies next year. So what really struck me was that a lot of the top ones are like already 24 or won't qualify after July. So one of the main reasons I did the list was thinking, really need to get prepared for next season. Like these guys are going to cost me more. And if I get some backups and, it's going to be good profit in that. So I think going to be even more demand for next year. Obviously, I'll own a good number of them as well. I've got a few from before too, and some of them like my Mardishvili. He was more of a recent addition. He's always been quite expensive, but like obviously had a few games for Valencia and things like that as well. There was other guys on there, obviously, without going top to bottom, like David Ochoa, who's playing like through the summer. So the other thing I had in my mind was, right, these guys is going to be playing over the summer. There's no Euros on. There's, obviously Brazilian league and things running, but I need to make sure I've still got guys to put out in my under 23s team. Plus, these guys might get more money as well. So in terms of standouts, I mean, well, obviously, I think Donnarumma's kind of in a bit of a class of his own. To be honest, I just think he's just so good. But he's difficult just now because you can't pick when he's going to play, so that's hard. And then kind of work down based on maybe it's kind of based on value or guys here. Obviously, Diogo Costa, he's just sort of overturned Marchson recently, so he's come in. Safanov has been doing really well, really good. And then you're getting into guys like Mantle, who is German under 21 goalkeeper. So he's not playing just now, but he was somebody who really sort of stuck out like a sore thumb in terms of like value. Not so much the rare, because obviously everybody knows him. Interestingly, the rare price is 900 and the limited is only 60. So like I bought a lot of the limited and I've actually picked up rares, but that's kind of less from a profit point of view and more from I want to make sure I've got somebody to play in goals in a year or two's time point of view. Lafont, obviously everybody will pretty much know him. Maximiano, he'd actually shot up a bit because obviously when he moved to Granada he wasn't playing initially. And then you get guys like Verbruggen, who's a backup but played a good bit for Anderlecht as well. I think it was because of injury, but guys like that just really stand out because he's only 18, 19. So if you look at that, he's under 23 until 2027. So that's pretty mad, really. You get so much sort of time in terms of when he's going to play. And all right, he's not that cheap just now, but he's really cheap compared to other goalkeepers. And if you buy something like that, you just got to wait. Just got to wait until he gets in.
Well, with Verbruggen, I remember with the playoffs last year, I don't think Anderlecht were in any sort of title contention, but the decision came out that Verbruggen was going to play every playoff game ahead of all the fixtures, so we knew that was happening.
Yeah.
And that was it really does shine a light on their opinion of the guy, that they wanted to give him proper game experience against teams that were fighting for the title and fighting for European spots.
Yeah.
So even though he's not played much this year, I make it right that he's definitely highly rated.
Yeah.
There's actually, as I look right now, there's actually none for sale on the secondary market. And talk about rares here. And the last auction went for 0.27 Ethereum or £524 sterling. So he's definitely a quality backup. One of the names that kind of in that kind of mold that really jumps out to me, we've had some revelations with over the last week or two, is Lucas Chevalier. So as we know, Garbage is on loan at Lille, and he's been dropping clangers, and he's been getting all sorts of abuse of not being good enough. And Chevalier is very much seen by Lille as their next permanent number one, which is why Garbage is alone. So he's an interesting one, isn't he?
Well, he get Player of the Month two months in a row in League Two, I think. So he's doing really well. Plus, he's getting game time. So that's another thing you kind of want to look at when you're looking at backups. Are they playing out on loan at somebody? Are they getting all the cup games? Have they played in the team before? Stuff like that. But I think like he's really good. We see his average price. That point was about 500. And I think since then he's not been minted just now.
Your
He's
hero
not been
Fraser.
mentioned. Well, I mean, he's not been selling for that, I think, but I think some two people paid 900 or 1,000. So he's gone up a good bit. I don't know if maybe there's just kind of people like talking about what's going to happen and Gabbage been dropped, or because of these performances, or maybe Leo have said something about him. But yeah, I mean, from his point of view, it was kind of more difficult because obviously he's not been minted just now, and there's only the previous like restricted supply type thing. But just as a guy you just had to mention, like because he's getting game time, and just seems as if there's some sort of path there for him to play at some point as well. Obviously Muric, so he was already like 2,000 at that point. Look at the limited price, 388, and you think, oh, that's a lot, but he's going for about 800 or 900 now or something like that. So, like
He's one of my biggest regrets this season, Muric, man. Me and you spoke about him quite a lot because he's a Man City loanee, obviously, so I've been scoping him forever. And it's always been, damn, I wish I bought him yesterday.
yeah,
Always.
I think I did tell you to buy him as well, but you never listened to me. So anyway, that's
You did tell me, and then you proceeded to buy one and a super rare.
no. Well, I sold the super, but the thing is, the super was a wee bit different as well. Because remember, in mind, at the start of the season, he get dropped for a couple of games, and then he was playing with his international team. He came back, he was still dropped, and then he got back in, and then obviously the super rares maybe a wee bit less liquid, and the rares obviously are doing really well now as well. But there was earlier on in the season there was actually a slight risk that he might not play, so that's obviously you want to factor those things in as well. But he's doing great. I mean, I think he's in the top. He's in top three goalkeepers scoring wise in the whole platform just now, not just 23s. Like he's playing really well. He's on a bit of a heater, so it's interesting.
He's the only player in this list because you've got a very interesting detail. We'll be on screen now for everyone watching. When their contract expires, obviously he's only on a loan, but that also then draws my attention back to Chevalier. So Chevalier, if his contract runs out in 24, they're definitely going to want to have him playing for a season before they give him a new deal. And that's either to get sign the thing or to work out whether they want to keep him. So the clock is ticking.
I think they also had when you sent him. It was interesting they sent him on loan to League Two as well. Because I think Jakabek, who's there, went on loan to Belgium before as well. But he didn't. I think he played some, and then he didn't play some. So it's kind of like they've loaned him to League Two, but he's playing. So it kind of suggests to me that they want to send him somewhere because they wanted him to play, which to me suggests that they want to develop him to play in the team. So hopefully that's the path he takes. There's some other good ones on there. Obviously, Lamens, like he's played some games for Bruges as well, and he's really highly rated there too. He's the Belgian under-21 goalkeeper as well, I think. So, or if he's not the complete number one choice, he's played a good amount, and he's only 19. So again, you look at that, under-23 till 2027. So obviously, he's not going to be overturning Mignolet soon, but you think at some point if the plan is for him to take over, they'll maybe even send him out on loan for a spell to get him ready or whatever. You just don't know what the overall sort of plan there is. And again, he's quite expensive, but although the limited price averaged about 57, some of them were going for about 30 or 40 at some point. I think that's totally fine punt. Like, it's in a good price level where, all right, it's 30 or 40 quid. I know that, but like you're talking about a guy who, if he gets in, he's at Martin van der Voort level, and then you're talking a really good increase in your 30 or 40 quid. So it's worth the risk. Kelleher, obviously this was before January, so I was kind of thinking that he might get a loan at some point, but I've really been proper impressed when he's played for Liverpool. Like he's been really good. He's come in for Alisson a few times. He just looks like a top goalkeeper. Just did not look out of place at all. And he's only 23s until next year, but there is a possibility maybe he goes to Championship at some point. So people maybe not know this, but they can, because they're out with the top leagues, they can loan somebody like out with windows and stuff. So it gets to a stage where either Liverpool have not got much to play for, or give them some games, or maybe they send them out on loan or whatever. So I just think it's quality. I think it's quality anyway. I mean, like, is he going to sit there at Liverpool for his whole career? Probably not. So he's good enough to play. So I think he's a kind of no-brainer buy, albeit it's quite a lot. And obviously because Liverpool have got no limited cards, you can't get a limited. But when the EPL joins, or whatever. But yeah, he's actually went up a lot as well because he got a couple of games just after that, and he looked really good. And I think he's about 700 or 800 now, to be honest. But just shows you even a couple of games for under 23 goalkeeper can make a big difference. Some unusual ones on. I mean, I left Destin Oglu on it. That's an unusual one because I really thought that
No card.
they would have. Well, I really thought they would have Besiktas on by now because they've onboarded the whole Turkish league. He's only 20 and he's nailed starter, so I'd left him on because I was thinking, well, he's going to be one of the guys everybody's wanting to buy type thing. So,
Of course.
yeah.
There was only two names on this list that really I hadn't seen before, really properly. And the first one was Plazzari, who you've got listed at Milan. I've just checked, I think he's on loan now. And Philip Jorgensen at Villarreal.
Yeah.
So both of these guys feel quite far away from the first team based on your analysis.
Mm-hmm.
But what made them make this cut into the best buy section?
Plazzari, I think he was playing at his other club and then he obviously Milan bought him. There was talk of him going on loan. I think he's currently on loan to Serie B. So obviously that's, it turns out, not a playing league, but he's going out for some games. He's been a bit unlucky as well because when Mannion got injured, he was out as well. Otherwise, he'd have played for the Milan first team. So I think they think he's good enough to be a backup. So, you don't want to wish serious injury on anybody, but you know fine well if Mannion or whatever gets injured, there's so many guys that are sitting with Mannion. They maybe want to cover that a wee bit. They want to buy Plazzari, but he would fly. He's playing for Milan and stuff. So yeah, I thought he was a good pickup, and he's a wee bit more difficult because obviously they sell him in the bundles and things too. So it's quite a bit harder to get a bargain. But there's points where the limited was only like 30 quid, stuff like that. So that was an obvious buy, and he seems to be quite highly rated in Italy as well.
It appears his contract is out in June 23. So again, this year there's decisions to be made. Do they extend him? Do they loan him out? So that could be a really interesting one. What about Philip Jorgensen?
So Jorgensen, he's Danish. He's not really played for Villarreal, so he's a backup. But it's a kind of weird one as well. Sometimes people prefer backups, but they've got two good goalkeepers. So they've got Rulli and Senjo, isn't it? So sometimes feel with these guys that if they're young and they've brought them in and they're real backups, but there's an older backup, that there's a good chance of them getting a loan as well. The other thing I quite like is the fact that they've brought on the Danish Super League as well. Because if they're going to send them somewhere for a bit of experience, they might find them a club, obviously in Spain or whatever, but it's unlikely he's going to go to La Liga. So just add some extra options there as well, because you have seen clubs like French clubs loaning goalkeepers to Belgium, all that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, he could be honking, but if he's playing and he's under 23, then the likelihood is it's going to be good. But yeah, he is quite highly rated. I think he's the Danish under 21 goalkeeper as well, and that's kind of another thing I'm always looking for, like who's playing for the national teams. Are they getting games in like cup competitions in place of the main goalkeeper? Stuff like that, just like indicators that the guy's capable of playing in good quality type thing. But he's quite, I think he's quite affordable as well. So obviously price wise, he's not that expensive. So I think as a punt, given his age, you can sit on him for a while, and if he doesn't get in in the next couple of months or whatever, it's not that much money you're putting away.
Last one I'll ask you, Marky Boy, is if you were exclusively a limited player and you could take one of these goalkeepers to use in SO5 and you take another one to sit on for a flip further down the road, who would you take out of this list?
To use, it would always usually have to be Donnarumma, but you just can't predict when he's going to play. So at the moment, if you're buying one to use, then I think it'd have to be Muric. His form's just brilliantly, even when he's not keeping clean sheets. He's making so many saves. His scores are brilliant. So if you're going to buy one to use, then you have to be Muric. If you buy one to sit on, Mantle, definitely Mantle. I think his situation, German under 21 goalkeeper. there was lots of talk in the window. He was like pushing, he was like making noises. He wanted to be number one. They might have the league wrapped up, so he might get a bit of time for that. But Kona is a good goalkeeper. Like the guy ahead of him, he's a good goalkeeper as well. But Salzburg tend to like develop these guys and move on to the Bundesliga. So I get a feeling that one way or another that situation will be resolved in the summer. I.e., Mantle will either get in because Cohen goes, or Mantle will get fed up. He'll go back to Bundesliga. But he was the number one at like 18, 19 for, I can't remember the German team's name. But it was like the Bundesliga 2 or Bundesliga 3. So he burst through and he was playing, and then Salzburg picked him up. But he's good enough to play. So, the rep price is really high, but I think people know he's a German under-21 goalkeeper, but often you can pick up the limited and, pretty good price. So that he would be one I would kind of stock up on, because if he gets in, he'll be staying in, I think. So
Magic. Lovely, Mark. Thanks very much, man. Absolute pleasure.
No problem.
Let's get into all the giveaway stuff before I let you go. I'm still doing monthly giveaways and I'm making it easier to enter. If you want to be entered to win this month's prize or any future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, you need to be a subscriber to enter, then leave a comment down below. Each month, a random comment from a random video will be selected as the winner, so the more videos you leave a comment on, the better the chance you've got of winning any of my giveaways. All the winners are announced at the end of videos the same way as we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. As always guys, if you've enjoyed the video today, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. On screen now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.